skies. I'll pull up to let me feel less traumatized, but I can't stop.
What's good, YouTube? We back again with another video for y'all, man. And today, we got the Popeyes Mukbang / story time for y'all. Bae, what kind of story time you got for these people? What you got for them today, babe?
Right. So, I was around the ages of 21 or 22. I'm not sure, but it was between 21 and 22. I know it was before I had my son, but it was between the ages of 21 and 22. And I got into a tough situation, right? So, got into this tough situation. Wait, before I say anything, right? I'm from New York, right? I grew up in New York. I was raised in New York, right? So anywhere, like to a New Yorker, anywhere outside of New York is foreign to them, meaning different. Mm-hmm. So, cause you're so used to the buses, the everything, like the city and everything, stuff like that. So, like going to the country or something, that's foreign. Like I don't know about that. I'm not too familiar with it, but anywho's, yeah, I was like around 21, 22, and situation came up, whatever the case may be, right? And
Can you tell them where you moved to and stuff, babe?
Huh? Where? Oh, so yeah, I moved to, at this point in time in 21, 22, I moved to Georgia. I was living in Georgia, or whatever the case may be, right? It was like different to me because if you from New York, you will understand. Like it was just different. I was living more like 45 minutes from Atlanta, like the countryside of Atlanta.
Where all the trees is at and no connections like that on the phone.
Yeah, so yeah, I was living there with the boo. A situation popped off, right? Mind you, disclaimer, in a way, I feel like this was a journey for me that God wanted me to take. I chose to be homeless. That's what I'm gonna say. Like I chose to be homeless. I chose to be homeless, and my family didn't know that I was homeless either. Let me say that also. My family didn't know that I was homeless, and I chose to keep that from them. Like I didn't want that to be a burden on them or what I was going through and my struggle in life and my journey, right? So yeah, situation came out, boom, right? I got some money, right? At the time I was dating someone, and we got on a bus, right? Went to South Carolina, which is like a couple hours away, not too far away, didn't have that much money. Got on the bus, boom, right? When I arrived to South Carolina, I can tell the difference from Georgia and South Carolina, right? So that was also foreign to me because the South was just like different to me. But yeah, I arrived South Carolina, right, on a bus, and whatever the case may be. In the buses when I don't know if they still are. The buses was like $1.25 to get on, $1.50. I swear to God, $1.25, $1.50 to get on. I swear to God, babe. Like $1.25, $1.50 to get on. Nah, for real, it really was. I'm like, wow, this is really different. Word. In New York at the time, I think the bus fare was like $2.50. I don't know, or $2.75. I'm not sure. Right now it's like $3, but it was around the $2 such range at that time. So yeah, I got on the bus, whatever case may be, right? When I first arrived there in South Carolina, I did not have nowhere to go. I didn't know nobody out there. I don't have no friends. I don't have no family. But the person that I was dealing with at the time, dealing with at the time. Dating is the same thing, right? The person that I was involved with at the time, right? They're known, and they're not too well known to where like, they got it like that. But people know them around.
They know how to get
here
around
and there. Like they know how to get around places.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very familiar with the place, with the areas and stuff. So, right. So yeah, it was new to me. When I first arrived there, right, I promise you not, I stood up until when we first arrived there, it was like daylight. I don't know, maybe, I honestly don't remember the time. It was probably like 2, 3, I don't know, right? But we stayed up until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, like just trying to find a place to stay. Like
when y'all first moved down there?
We didn't first move down there. Who first moved down there?
To North Carolina. You said you was up until 5 in the morning?
South Carolina. Yes, but I was up to like, I was homeless. I didn't have nowhere to go. The shelters wouldn't take me. And because one thing I can say, he didn't ever leave my side. I'm honestly grateful for that, because he could have just been like, bruh, I'm deuces, I'm going, and do me. But I honestly do appreciate that. Like, he did not leave my side at all. So, yeah, the shelters didn't have enough room for me. Like, we looked around for so many shelters. They didn't have room for me, but they had room and stuff for him. Like, he could have got a bed. He could have, got room or whatever the case may be, but he didn't leave my side. So we ended up going into like this hotel, and it was a very like nice hotel. And he would tell me like, oh, like if we go all the way up to this floor, nobody goes on this floor. So we go all the way up to this floor, freaking nobody's gonna bother us. We can just sleep there, wake up and then just leave. Nobody's gonna bother us. Like, literally sleep outside on the hallway floor. And the corner, it was like a little cut. I remember. And we had like a little bit of money left, and we went to this pizza place. And it's a very familiar pizza place in South Carolina. But we went to this pizza place, got a cheeseburger and stuff. I didn't eat it because it had like mustard and stuff on it. It was like a cheeseburger. It was like a New York cheeseburger pizza. And bruh, I'm from New York. I don't eat that shit. Like, I don't, if it's not a chopped cheese, you know what I'm saying? Like, something that I'm familiar of, I'm not eating it. But at that point in time, like, I'm just used to certain things. Like, but, yeah, so it was just the cheeseburger. I just didn't like it. It had like mustard and
mayonnaise.
No, like, it was like made like a cheeseburger. It had like mustard and all these other things on it. So I didn't really eat it. He ate it and he like saved it because we didn't have money. So he saved it throughout the night or whatever to eat and stuff. And yeah, so we I ain't gonna lie, we got a couple of hours of sleep until like the cleaning people started to come up there. And I was like, he would wake me up. No, they would wake me up from like the noise and shit. Like, and I would be like, I thought you said nobody would come up here. Like, not even the cleaning people. Like, nobody. And then he was like, yeah, I didn't know. Like, that's new. They must have, I don't know, whatever it may be. It was like a place where like you go to a certain floor. It was like radio stations on different types of floors and stuff. Like, it was a hotel though. And it was like, I don't know, it was kind of weird, but it was a weird area. But yeah, yeah, so that happened, right? And freaking, yeah, so we ended up waking up or whatever the case may be. And then, like, I guess he spoke to someone that he knew from like prison, and but the guy he spoke to someone that he knew from jail, but the guy got out before him. And I guess the guy got his like life together or something. I really honestly don't remember a lot of it, but I remember very most important parts. Like, I remember being homeless. It was a life-changing event. And I'm gonna tell you guys the reason why I remember this specific time in my life. But yeah, the guy was like, oh yeah, you guys can come over or whatever case may be. Like, I don't have a mansion or anything, like, but yeah, I have a pull-out bed y'all can sleep on or whatever case may be, right? So we did that. And the next morning we got up, washed our face, brushed our teeth, whatever the case may be, changed and stuff, took a shower. And then we left out the guy's house, and he gave us a ride back to like the city, like the little city where we was at or whatever. And then we was going down to shelters or whatever the case may be, because he knew a guy in the shelter that really wanted to help him out. Like, they were really close. Like, he was like, yo, he worked in the shelter, so he was like, yeah, bro, I got a bed for you. Like, you don't, you know what I'm saying? And then he was like, but my girl need a bed too, so can you? And it's crazy because the guy girlfriend, or I don't know if they still married, his wife, his fiance or his wife. No, I think it was his girlfriend at the moment. Or I'm not sure. It was his wife or something. But she worked in the woman's side of the shelter, and he worked in the men's side of the shelter. And he was like, yeah, I can get you a room or whatever the case may be. And then the person I was with was like, do you think my lady could get a, my old lady could get a, cause that's how they talk down there, like my old lady and stuff. You think my old lady could get a, yeah, could get a bed or something, like whatever the case may be. And then she was like, they was like, oh, the beds is full, there's no beds is full with the roof, like, so we were just trying to give me a bed. And then a bed got, like, it's crazy how God works, babe. A bed was available out of the blue. Out of the blue, a bed was available, honestly, right? Because we was looking for hours, I ain't gonna lie, then a bed became available. And I haven't ever been to a shelter before in my life until I've gotten to this situation. Honest to God, right hand of God, I've always had a roof over my head, food I can eat, clothes on my back. Like, my mom took really good care of me. Like, very, very good care of me. I didn't ever have to worry about food, clothes, anything. Anything I wanted, I got it. Like, even when she was like, when she didn't have it, we had it. So let me just make that clear. So this was my first time ever, like, in the shelter, experiencing everything that I'm experiencing or whatever it may be, right? So yeah, got in the shelter. It was different, right? So they was like, oh, it was rooms. It was like literally rooms. It was like roommates. Like, it was like 4 people to a room, and in that room you had like the beds. They were like bunk beds, right? And then you had a bathroom. It was pretty decent. Like, it was honestly pretty decent, babe. And then they had like different sections. Then when you would leave out, it was like a whole kitchen for everybody, and like
for real?
yeah, it was like a whole kitchen for everybody, a whole like book session, like living room / book section for everybody. You can go out and just like chill. They help you go, like, within that area. There was like church. They had a church inside the area. It was like a big gated area. Like, they had church within that session, and then they had like they had the church in the session, and then they had like a place where you can go and fill out for income, or like fill out like to try to look for a job or to get a place. But they would really help people with like finding a place to live. So yeah, that was the first day. I remember the first thing I did was hopped in the shower and stuff like that. And no, I wasn't. Remember, I took a shower the night before. But the first thing I did was hop in the shower. Like, I don't know, I just felt out of place. I felt like dirty even though I took a shower. Like, I just felt so out of place because it's hot and muggy. So I took a shower, whatever, cleaned up myself. And they was telling me the rules and stuff, and they have curfew. Once the gates lock, unless you working and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be, you gotta show them like your schedule and show them that you're working. So for them to let you in, because if you lock down, you miss curfew, your spot is gone.
Word.
So that happened, and he was living in the men's side. We wasn't together during that time, but we was together. I was in the women's side, he was in the men's side. We would come out and meet each other and talk and stuff like that and stuff. And then yeah, like that's when yeah, we was living in the shelter for a while, maybe for a couple of months and stuff. My family didn't know I was homeless. And like maybe 2-3 months down the line, right? I got into this altercation because the lady stole my pants. And now I had a job at that time and everything. So I worked very, very hard for my things that I had there, right? I worked, and I had really nice things. Like, some people didn't even think that I was homeless the way that I went in the store one day to ask to get a job, right? To apply for the job. And the lady was like, oh, where do you live, or whatever the case may be. And I wrote down the shelter's address, and she was like, you're homeless? And I'm like, yeah, I'm homeless. She's like, wow, you don't look homeless. And she started like crying and stuff, right? No lie. She started crying and stuff. But anyways, this new girl, because people were always coming in and out, like, because they wouldn't be able to stay. And yes, sometimes there were drug addicts and stuff there, but my life changed. I met a lady. She was like a second mom to me. She like helped me with things. She's a blessing to my life. She was a blessing to my life. God bless her. Yeah, she would come in into my life. She would tell me stories about her, like, back in the days, her stories and stuff like that. And, you know, people would tell stories, and she would just help me out a lot. She was a great help to me, right? During this time. Anyways, yeah, I came back home, and then I was told, like, oh, like, I was like, who, like, they did my drawer? Because you had 2 drawers. You had to share, so it was different drawers and stuff, but, like when you wherever your bed is, you have like 2 drawers, and then on the other side you have like say one drawer on this side, that's this side of the bed, that's they drawers, right? So your bunk bed over here, that's they drawers, whatever. And my bunk bed over here, and I got some sharing somebody. I was at the top and I was sharing somebody. That's me and they drawer, right? So we were sharing. So her drawer wasn't in that drawer. Like her drawer wasn't on that side.
And she knew that.
And she stole my pants. And then we got like, I'm very quiet, you know, and I really don't like to show like the horrible side of me, like the angry side of me, because it's nothing to be proud about. So, but I'm very, very to myself, and I'm very like quiet, and I'm very respectful, and I'm very like, you know, chill until you push me to that point. So I would just like kept asking her like, yo, you stole my pants, or whatever the case may be, you stole my pants. And I just snapped, babe, because she was lying to me and I knew it. And then, you know, I don't like being lied to.
I don't like that.
You know,
either.
if you needed the pants,
Especially
I would just feel like I bet. And
like,
she was bigger than me. She couldn't even fit the shits. I think she like sold them or something. I don't know. But she was like, she started, the thing that got me was, I was speaking to her so respectfully and politely, and she started acting wild like these South Carolina, like, yo, these South Carolina bitches be bugging like they won't get fucked up. Like, pardon my French, like, shorty, you bugging. I'm from the hood, bro. Like, you bugging. I will punch you in your teeth. Like, that's the side of me that I don't like, right? But anyways, that I've worked on and I know how to tame now. But yeah, she was talking wild, y'all. Like, she was talking reckless, like, bitch, ba-da-da-da in my face. And I don't play that bitching in my face, your hand pointing, you too close, first of all. You in my surroundings, that's, anyway. But yeah, she was da-da-da, so she was yelling, no, first, yeah, she was yelling, screaming with the woo, right? So I was just like, bro, like, she's getting me tight. So I hopped off the bed, like, who you talking to? Like, who you talking to? Like, standing in her face, whatever. I'm like, who you talking to? Who you talking to? And then she like, I'm talking to you, bitch. She was in my face, like, I'm talking to you with the woo. So I'm like, yo, I'm really about to, like, you couldn't fight in the shelter or you would get kicked out. So I'm like, bro, like, that's when I just started, I blacked out there. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, y'all got me fucked up. I don't give a fuck, right? So then I'm gonna tell you this too, right? I ain't never told you this, babe, but yeah, I'm like, you got me fucked up. I'm like, bitch, I will fucking violate you. Like, I will beat the fucking brakes off of you. You lucky I do not want to get like, I was waiting. They was like, oh, you can't threat. I'm like, bitch, I will violate you. I'm like, when I see you, I promised her this. It wasn't a threat. It was a promise. And I made it happen. I said, when I see you outside of this shelter, I'm gonna violate you. It's over. Like, I'm gonna violate you. Like, I'm gonna punch you in your face. Like, I'm really gonna punch you in your mouth. Like, you must think I'm, like, you don't know, like, you bugging. Like, so then the little white lady come in, right? Little shelter lady, I remember. I forgot the lady's name. I forgot her name. She come in, right? Snow White. She got snow, what they call it? Salt and pepper hair, right? Her hair was long, like on cap. Babe, I'm telling you. She's like, oh, you're threatening. I'm like, son, I don't care, right? She didn't like me from the get-go. She was trying to kick me out and shit, babe, like, on the low. She was been trying to kick me out. So she like, oh, I'm calling the cops on you. You're threatening. You got to get out. I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. Like, you don't, like, where's such and such, right? I'm not going to say names because they will find out the shelter. But I was like, the person in charge of that area, her name, we're going to say Robin, right? Her name was, but I was like, where's Robin? Right? Because she's in charge and and she knows how to talk to me and stuff like that. And she the one that was like, oh, you know, like, God was in my, like, you know how people be like, yeah, I believe in God, but they never really, like, took the steps to, like, read the Bible or to pray or to just worship and just to do the things that, like, God wants you to do. Like, just read a page of the Bible every day or worship God, wake up, thank him, or, you know what I'm saying? I never was doing that stuff. Like, I would just be like, yeah, I believe in God or whatever case may be. Like, you know? Like, and I would always have to talk to Rebecca and stuff like that. For real. And then she gave me a Bible. And, but yeah. Anyways, right? So, let me not get off the track. But, yeah, so, I, whatever, long story short, got into that fight, got kicked out of the shelter. Boom, I was gone. She called the cops on me. The lady just started doing extra, bro. And, like, it's wild because everybody in the shelter was defending me. Like, yo, she don't even act like this. Like, that girl did something. Because, babe, I was the nicest person to everybody. Like, they was like, oh, you so sweet and stuff like that. They used to call me New York, babe. Like, for real. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, I was the sweetest person. Like, and it was just women in that shelter. And I was so sweet to them and nice to them. And I would talk to them and have conversations with them and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm not the type of person to, like, talk to people like that. And I was telling them, like, you know, and have conversations and stuff like that. And they was like, no, she just shouldn't have had to go. The girl started it and stuff. Like, And even like even Miss Mary, she's like, yo, like the lady, the other girl started and stuff like that. So I was out, right? So I called him. He was at work. The person I was dealing with, he was at work. So I called him. I'm like, hello. I got kicked out of the shelter, like, cause I was about to beat this girl up. She stole my pants with the woo, blah blah blah. So he like, what? He like, I'm clocking out right now with the woo. So he clocked out. He came. He like, well, you ain't finna be out in the streets on your own. He left. He didn't have to leave his bed, but he left his bed. I ain't gonna lie. Honestly, he was with me the whole time of me, like, or the case may be. But yeah, and then eventually, like, we slept. Eventually, we were sleeping like the grass at night, and then like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, the sprinklers would go off. We would have to hurry up, get up, curl our blankets, and run. Like, we didn't have no with it. That's when it was rough. We had to go to the bathrooms and brush our teeth, wash our face and stuff. Like, here and there, we would be able to get a shower and stuff. Here and there, we would be able to eat. There were times we would go without eating. Sometimes we would like sleep in the library, the public library that would open up. We would sleep in the library and stuff. Until we, babe, I didn't know you at that time, and I was in a relationship, and then that time, and yeah, we would do that and stuff like that. We would sleep, and it started to get cold, and we would still be sleeping in the cold and stuff, like cold, like not New York cold, but it would get, you know, New York cold, it'll get, it's not tolerable, it's cold, but sleep in the cold, and then I got a job at a restaurant, and we would have money to stay in a motel, like overnight, and we would buy mad food, like not food, but like snacks, like oodles and noodles, chips, chips, like the flavored waters. Boxes. We would buy the ones we would buy the ones in the pack, because we did have a microwave. We buy the ones in the pack and buy like little Tupperware bowls at the Dollar Tree, or what is it called, Dollar General, and we would make the noodles and stuff like that. And I ain't gonna cap, he put me on to putting all the chips and the cheese noodles and shit in the noodles and mixing it up and eating it and shit. It was good, I ain't gonna lie. When you homeless, you gotta survive how you can. Word. And yeah, we would buy like little knickknacks here, like to wash our body and stuff like that, you know, clean up and stuff. And then we didn't have enough. Then we both got fired from our jobs because we got into an altercation at work, and he was trying to just. I just don't like being disrespected. I'm sorry, but
you should make that a part 2.
Yeah, I don't like being disrespected. But if yo, this is the good story that I'm gonna tell y'all. Yo, yeah, that's not even half of the story of me being homeless, y'all. Like I went through so much during that that period of time in my life, right? And that's also where I found God.
And good for me, I've heard all these stories.
That's where I found God, and that's where I started really, really, really believing in a higher power, and really just thanking Him, and like, you know, just telling my testimony and telling people like, yo, God really like loves us, and God is real, like, and yeah, y'all gotta listen to how I found God in that journey, and just stay tuned for like the part 2 of this story time, y'all.